Good morning, good morning, good morning. Welcome to another Morning Coffee Talks. Hey, it is Tuesday. For me, it's my Monday. It's time to get ready for this week, but it's going to be an awesome week. Hey, I reflected back a few times that me and my wife weren't on the same page, and I needed to find a way to reconnect with her. And one of the things I did was something called a 3 day and a 7 day fix. And depending on what level it was that um, things needed to be fixed, I would implement what I call a 3 day or 7 day fix, right? And today I'm going to talk about the 7 day. The 3 day is basically inside the 7 day, right? It just depends on what's going on and how you want to extend it. But I just feel that many husbands can feel the emotional distance, but when him and their spouses, not on the same page, and a lot of them don't know how to bridge that gap, right? I understand life gets busy. You become, functional partners, managing schedules, the bills, the kids, et cetera, right? But a lot of times, you don't manage your intimacy, right? And that can get lost as life gets busy. So the thing about life is everything has to be intentional. Even reconnecting doesn't happen on accident, right? It just happens when you intentionally go out your way or create a way to make that happen, right? So this is something I've done before, and this is interchangeable, right? But again, I'm here to do some practical things. So I want y'all to try this if you feel like, hey, me and my wife just not on the same page right now. A lot's going on, but I do want to reconnect with her. So, and again, this is not in any particular order, but maybe the first three. But the rest of them you can interchange, you can swap out depending on your situation. But I would say the first thing is if it's really, again, this is for the 7 day, right? Things are just really off the rails and you need to get them back on track. The first thing is write her a letter, right? Don't shoot her a text. Don't leave her a sticky note. That's for another thing, right? Sticky notes work, but not in this instance. But again, don't write her a sticky note. Write her a real, honest letter, right? And tell her things like, what you admire by her. Remind her of certain moments in you guys' journey, in you guys' life that you'll never forget, right? Say things you don't always say out loud, inside that letter, right? Just make sure that when you write this letter, it has real intention behind it, real sincerity behind it. And I think this is the first start, right? This is what I'll call day one of the 7th, right? Write that letter, maybe even leave a rose with it, right? Make it look really nice. Leave it somewhere like on the bed. The bed's made up. She walk in, her kind of route where she walks, and leave that for her. All right. Day 2. And again, depending on you guys' schedule, you can line this up where we'll talk about day 3. But day 2, have a 20-30 minute phone free conversation, right? Just sit down, make time for it with no TV, no phones, and just really, ask her about how she's doing, right? Let her speak without attempting to fix anything. It's just a situation of you being fully present, with eye contact. Your body language is showing that, hey, I'm all in, I'm listening, I'm here, I'm present. And just to allow her to decompress for whatever, it could be work going on that's not allowing her to connect with whatever problem y'all had, right? So at least if you can allow her to decompress a little bit, that way next time y'all speak, the focus is really on you guys, all right? That's day 2. Day 3. Again, depending on how you line it up, this is when we go in with a simple date night, right? We're not looking for 5-star restaurants to blow her off, socks off. do things where you guys can reconnect. Not again, them 5-star restaurants, those are like experiences, right? We're going for experiences. Here, we're not trying to do that. We're trying to reconnect, right? So maybe even cook together. Do something simple like, go on a walk, grab some ice cream. You know, the point is, maybe you walk in the park, just catching up. Maybe do a small picnic, whatever. Just have you guys connect. The point is it's one-on-one time. And again, it's not about the price tag, man. It's not about attempting to create, some type of experience. The point is to reconnect. All right, that's day 3. Day 4, you have to find something to do that she didn't ask you for. Some type of act of service. Take something off her plate. I'm sure you've already been doing this, but let's say, like for instance, right? My wife is starting to do the laundry. Not started to. She's been doing the laundry, but that would be something I'll take over, right? Let's say I know she has a long day, or even if it's a short day, and I'm off for something like that. Again, depending on how you line it up. But go ahead and knock the laundry out, right? Go ahead and I don't know if you know what your wife does that's for the family, that's for you, that's for her. Go ahead and go out your way to do that without her asking you, right? Maybe going ahead and filling up her gas tank. You should be doing it anyway, right? But if you're not, go ahead and fill that tank up. Small gestures like that, just to be like, have her think like, okay, what's going on? Listen, that at least show your wife that you're attempting to fix things, right? Maybe y'all haven't got to that point, but at least you're showing that initiative. And again, that thing that you do for her, or you've been meaning to do, you just did it, man. And I promise you, she'll notice and care about that little gesture, right? That act of service that she didn't ask for. Maybe she did the laundry already. Go ahead and fold the clothes. I'm just trying to just kind of think about little things. But your wife, your situation. Just think about little things that she does, and you can take care of 1 or 2 of those. All right. So that'd be day 4. Day 5, and you can implement this actually on day 3 with the date, right? Is give her a compliment in front of people, right? Affirm her publicly, right? Let's say, you out around some family or something like that, or just out in public, whatever the scenario is, or even in front of your kids, if you got kids or something like that. Tell whoever you're around on how amazing she is, right? And make sure you back it up with like 2, 3 things she do. Man, my wife, she the best cook. She can throw down. This her best meal, whatever. Man, you know what? My wife, she planned this amazing thing one time, or this is what she do every week, every day. That's consistent, which I appreciate. Right? Let her hear you praise her to others. Right? And I just feel like that type of stuff hit different. It just hits different, man. So make sure that she hears you. Don't come off, don't come off all like it get to a point. Make sure it sounds sincere. That's what I'm gonna get to. Make sure it sounds sincere, and it doesn't come off like you trying too much. You know what I mean? That it ain't gonna hit the right way. Just make sure it's sincere. You know that one thing your wife does well, right? And even if she give you the side eye, she's still gonna appreciate it, right? But just don't come off as like just lame about it. Just make sure it sounds sincere. That was day 5. Day 6. When you at this point, she's starting to see you put in work, put in progress to attempt to reconnect. The next time y'all actually sit down for the real conversation to fix the problem, once y'all, again, make sure that this one thing you ask her about her dreams, man, right? Go deeper than just a surface level conversation. Remember, again, you can kind of implement this on a simple date night. Let's say you walking, but it's a distraction, or that 20-minute sit down to just kind of allow her to decompress. This needs to be separate. Yeah, we're gonna keep it separate because at this point, you've worked your way back into the situation, whereas now her mind's open to receiving you when inside this conversation, right? And when I say ask about her dreams, you know, ask her something that she still wants to do in life, right? If money and time weren't an issue, ask her what would she chase, right? And it's almost like you're asking her, you know, is there a space that can be created beyond her just being a wife and a mom? You know what I mean? And I think that can be really appreciated because it's really like tapping into her psyche of she's not just boxed in of this particular role in her life. And that doesn't mean she, depending on y'all scenario, that doesn't mean she drop everything and just start chasing this particular thing, but it could be a plan behind it, right? It could be just, hey, I wanted to go on this vacation. You know what I mean? Hey, I wanted to start doing XYZ, and then from there you figure out how to help her with that. Because a lot of times, man, I had a homeboy. He said that he married a home builder, and I was like, what the heck is a home builder? A homemaker, I'm sorry, homemaker. And it's basically just a wife, who at home, like, I mean, he paid all the bills, but she didn't have friends, she didn't have hobbies. And, it really boxed her mind in a little bit. Whereas all she did was focus on literally being a wife and a mom. And for some guys, that may be okay with you, right? However, in today's age, man, with social media, with so many different experiences out there, it's so much going on. They see that. Don't get it twisted. Back in the 90s, we didn't have the internet. I mean, not what it is now. And so you would just kind of confined to your community. So whatever your community was, like your bubble, right? Either your house and then your community, right? A lot of people didn't travel like that. I mean, it was still people traveling wrong, but it's not like how it is now, where it's really like you can see what other people's experiences are when they're traveling and stuff, or different hobbies. So you had to create space for that if you want her to have a healthy mentality, healthy psyche. And so that's why that conversation about asking her about her dreams is so important, right? And lastly, man, this is the last thing. I'm going to say this. And I wanted to know how graphic I wanted to get with it, but I'm going to keep it PG-13, right? But listen, man, at the end of the day, you have to make love to her like you're 20, bro. I know you might be in your 40s, your 50s. What? Listen, your 30s. You got to put it down, man. You have got to put it down in the bedroom. I'm gonna tell you right now, it does not matter. Listen, it don't matter how much game you think you got. You have got to put it down in the bedroom. That's just part of it. That's just part of it, man. So the quicker you can get these out the way, because when you make love to her, like like it's the last damn earth type thing. Again, this isn't every week, right? But when it's one of these situations, you have to put it down. Let me just say it like that. You have to put it down. That's gonna help a lot of things. All right, that's gonna help a lot of things. So when it's all said and done, right? You don't you don't fix Dix. You don't fix the connection by waiting, right? It takes action, man. It takes intentional steps by day, day by day. And again, if this is my 7 days, again, it's not a perfect schedule, but again, that's why I said from the beginning, you can interchange it, you can move it around. I think the first 3 days are what you want to use. But again, it may not take 7 days. It may take 3, right? Again, it won't be perfect, but you'll be present with it. And I think that's where the reconnection is going to start, from the disconnection. So, hey, what y'all think about that? Drop a comment below. Subscribe to the Husband Code if it's your first time. If you've been watching for a while, subscribe. Also, if you got any value from this video, hit that like button. Also, hit the notification bell, because we're going to continue to drop videos like this all the time. And until next time, I appreciate y'all. Much love. Peace.